We dey suffer.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
Good evening, Nigeria. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Issues on Voice of the People TV, where we bring you the most important and pressing issues shaping our nation today. I am your host, Jerry Arpelehai, and tonight we'll be diving deep into very interesting major developments in Nigeria. Stay with us as we analyze these critical issues with our team of expert analysts, and this is a conversation you won't want to miss. We begin the show today where the Take It Back movement staged a protest in multiple Nigerian cities, including Lagos, Abuja, and Rivers, despite police warnings. The protest turned violent in Port Harcourt and Abuja, where police fired a tear gas, beating and dispersing protesters. The movement cited grievances, including the misuse of the Cybercrime Act, economic hardship, and the state of emergency in Rivers State, demanding relief for Nigerians struggling with inflation and insecurity. Away from that, where the Labour Party chairman Julius Abure has declared that there is no leadership vacuum in the party, despite speculation following the Supreme Court's judgment. Abure affirmed his position as national chairman, criticizing former presidential candidate Peter Obi and Governor Alex Otti for allegedly betraying the party and emphasizing that the party's constitution doesn't recognize caretaker committees. And still more, where we'll head to Edo State, where vigilantes in Uromi, Edo State, are protesting the seizure of over 2,000 firearms by the State Police Commissioner, citing concerns about their safety and ability to support local police. The vigilantes, many with over 20 years of service, claim they were trained by the government and are now vulnerable, with many escapees from police custody roaming free. All right, after the short break, we'll dig deeper into these topics and more. Don't go away.
In a world where truth is power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to your plug to the stories making the buzz, to science and technology, so and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react,
Welcome back. Let's dive straight into today's discussion. We started off with young people from the Take It Back movement defied police warnings and staged protests in multiple Nigerian cities, including Lagos, Abuja, and Rivers on April 7, 2025, despite the police describing the timing as ill-conceived and mischievous. Protesters marched through major roads, chanting solidarity songs and expressing dissatisfaction with the nation's economic and political state. In Lagos, protesters wore their signature orange berets and began their rally at the Ikeja on the bridge. The protest turned violent in Port Harcourt and Abuja, where police fired tear gas to disperse the crowds. In Port Harcourt, protesters were beaten and journalists were assaulted, while in Abuja, many were forced to flee for safety. The protest aimed to resist what the movement calls increasing authoritarianism and demand relief for Nigerians struggling with inflation and insecurity. The Take It Back movement cited grievances, including the misuse of the Cybercrime Act, worsening economic hardship, and the state of emergency imposed in Rivers State. Human rights activist Omoyele Sowore showed solidarity with the movement, which has been active in organizing protests on various national issues. The protests were part of a nationwide demonstration with similar events reported in Lagos, Oyo, and other states' capitals. All right, today I'm delighted to be joined by two esteemed guests. Here in the studio, we have Mr. Peter Anosike. Mr. Anosike is a philosopher, development economist, and best-selling author. He is also an erudite commentator on economy, finance, politics, and power. Great to have you join us once again.
I'm happy to be back.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
Well, not too bad.
All right. The great Iroko Tree returns. Okay. Joining us virtually is Barrister Ejiofor Umegbogu. He is a lawyer, a journalist, and a commentator on national issues. Great to have you join us on the issues.
Thank you very much, and good evening.
All right. It seems it's your debut, and I hope you will fire up like a good striker, score a lot of goals tonight.
Not my debut, actually, but maybe my debut on this particular program. Yes, on issues.
On the issues, yes. For me, you're always a debut as far as I'm seeing you for the first time. But let's start with you this lovely evening. Why do you think the Nigerian government continues to label peaceful protests as ill-conceived and mischievous rather than engaging with the underlying issues?
That has always been the problem with the Nigerian state. From the time of the military to this time that we suppose that we are, living in a democracy, it does appear that even the civilian administrators have not learned anything from the mistakes and experiences of the militaries in the past. It is so unfortunate, appalling, and frustrating that the Nigerian police specifically will continue to trample on people's rights to protest, even when the various courts of law in this country, including the Supreme Court, has said in their well-considered rulings and judgments that protest, peaceful protest, is the right of citizens. It is the right of citizens. The Supreme Court has made this pronouncement severally. Yet, the Nigerian police will always infiltrate free citizens who want to embark on peaceful protests, infiltrate their ranks to annoy them with tear gas and other forms of other things that try to make them stop the protest. By so doing, aggravate the situation, and then the protest will naturally turn violence. This has always been this story from the time of military till today. It's so disgusting, it's so frustrating that Nigerian police will continue to do this thing, even when the highest court in this land has said, police, you don't have any right to stop any citizen from protesting.
Okay.
It is the right everywhere in the world.
Yeah, in spite of knowing all of this, each time Nigerians through the Take It Back movement have come out to protest, instead of identifying the issues they are protesting about and try to address it, it seems like it gets worse the following day. I hope tomorrow we'll not have a story that fuel will be 1,500 per liter. I hope tomorrow the power tariff will not increase from the way it is at the moment that it's already had for the nation. So the modus operandi is the more the people protest, the more you make it more difficult. More like what Pharaoh did to the in Egypt. Are we going to wait for the Moses to come?
Yes. Your observations are quite in order. It appears that every time there is such protest, at the end of the protest, things get worse, and governments never solve or never resolve the issues that led to the protest. Rather, we have seen a constant increase in issues that led to the protest. Yes, that's a quite frank and sincere observation. But that will not stop us from protesting. Protest is a fundamental right. If we don't protest at all, then we have become a docile citizenry. And it is the silence of good men that makes evil men to thrive.
Right.
Let us continue to say no. Let us continue to do the right thing, even if the politicians refuses to do the proper thing.
Right.
We will continue to exercise our right, because if you sleep on your right, you will not have anybody to blame.
But I've been checking the videos. I did not see you barring on the streets. Is it that you're waiting for a clarion call?
Well, I am not a member of the Take Back Nigeria group.
But you don't have to be a part of the movement first before you at least not.
Yes, all of us have, it is our right to protest, and all of us have various ways of protesting. I can decide tomorrow to go on hunger strike because of what is happening in this country.
But would that make it
I can decide to stage a one-man protest. I must not join the crowd of whatever group. That is their group, and I am saying that they have the right to do what they are doing. I am not their member.
But you have to be their member because they are protesting for what all Nigerians are going through. Are you not going through what they're protesting about?
That is what I'm saying.
Okay.
That we have different forms of protest.
Okay.
You have different forms of showing our anger in the society. I said my own way of doing it can be by hunger strike. My own way of doing it may be by staging a one-man protest. It must not be joining this other group or my own group. If the Nigerian Bar Association tomorrow says every lawyer should come out to the street, I will gladly join them. So I also belong to some civil society organizations. If the leadership of those civil society organizations, which I am a member of, calls us out, I will be in the forefront.
Okay.
I'm a Nigerian with full rights. of a citizen.
Let me now go to Mr. Anosike. Mr. Anosike, I did not see you on the streets of Lagos or Abuja or Port Harcourt. But taking a look at this, with protests turning violent in major cities, do you believe the government's handling of dissent is worsening the situation, or maybe somehow they feel that it's creating a solution? Each time you protest, the police is always ready to turn things to a violent situation?
Bishop Godfrey Ona of Nsukka Catholic Diocese said that a country is doomed when government is no more afraid of the reaction of its people. That a country is doomed when government is no more afraid of the reaction of its people. So studies have shown to me that that civilian dictatorship is worse than military dictatorship. Studies have shown me that civilian corruption is worse than military corruption. And that is because in military corruption, it's only 1 or 2, 3 people standing. In civilian corruption, it's more than 1,000 people standing everywhere. Understand? The same thing in civilian dictatorship. So that's why Socrates said about 4000 BC that democracy will fail, and it has failed. Nigeria is no more practicing democracy. What we have now is autocracy. This is not democracy, and Nigerian government is no more afraid of the reaction of the masses. They don't even care. Imagine when people will protest, say, for hunger, they will increase the hunger. They will protest because of a rise in price of fuel. They will increase the price of fuel. Understand? So this shows that they don't care again what the people feels. So this is a tyranny that we have in this country. So the Nigeria Bar Association are part of the problem that we have in this country.
Are you indirectly referring to our virtual guest?
He's saying when Nigeria Bar Association called out that for protest.
But they've never done
they
that.
They cannot. If you look, our judiciary is dead. Why?
So are you saying that our guest is saying that just to escape being called out to protest, waiting for the Nigerian Bar Association, because they will never come out?
NBA is part of the decay in this country.
Barrister, you hear Mr. Anosike accusing your bar association of being part of the problem.
They are part of the decay. What are we having in our courts? What are we having in our
greatest
courts?
undoing? Our greatest undoing in this country,
okay,
and as a people, is this culture of bulk person. It is our greatest undoing. Now, we have this culture of trying to blame the other person for whatever wrong that you perceive in the society. You see, the Igbo man will say that the problem we have in this country is Hausa man. Hausa man will say the problem we have in this country is Yoruba's mismanagement of the economy. The Yoruba man will say the problem we have in this country is this person. The same way, our guest in the studio, he just passed the buck to Nigerian Bar Association. But it does appear that he doesn't know the difference between Nigerian Bar Association and the judiciary. My brother, these are two different entities.
They are
when
not.
You say
they are not.
And you take it with the judiciary.
A judge cannot sit and give a judgment with. There cannot be the bench without the bar.
And judiciary cannot be Nigerian Bar Association. Nigerian Bar Association, just like any other club or union or trade union, we have 1,001 trade unions in this country. Who are professional organizations. There are many of them. You have just called Nigerian Bar Association out.
Who produces these judges? Because I don't know what does it take to become a judge?
What of ICANN? What of every other professional organization? You have from. I want to clear for our guests in the studio that Nigerian Bar Association is not judiciary. Let us not
like for me who does not know. For me who does not know how a judge becomes. What process does it take to become a judge?
You start with a lawyer. You start by being a lawyer.
Okay, you are not. Maybe you are not a lawyer.
Maybe
yet.
After 10 years, you can become a magistrate.
Maybe you are not a lawyer yet. But barrister, please, is there a way you become a judge without first becoming a lawyer, or you just become a judge by accident? I just want to know.
Now, that is not the issue at stake here. That is not the issue. That is a discussion for another day. If we want to go into the profession, we are not discussing the legal profession here. But just note that there is a whole world of difference between Nigerian Bar Association and the judiciary. Judiciary is an arm of government. Is government. Nigerian Bar Association is not government. Nigerian Bar Association is an association of professionals. That professional may one day become a judge. That professional may one day become a governor. That professional may one day become a military man.
Are you saying the Nigerian Bar Association, for instance, let's say the Nigerian Bar Association is a pressure group in the judicial arm? Can we say that? Because the judiciary, as I know, when I was taught, no, as I know when I was taught government, there are three arms of government, and one executes, one interprets, and one makes law. And I know the judiciary is meant to interpret the law. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and if you are meant to interpret the law, and the Nigerian Bar Association is more or less like a group of those who are meant to interpret the law.
To make the laws.
No, the legislature make the laws, to interpret the laws. So now if the judges, for instance, Mr. Noske feels that they are not doing it the right way, who calls them to order to interpret the law that this is how it's supposed to be? Because now you can easily tell us that there's a clampdown on those who are protesting. You've just cited as a barrister that the Constitution supposedly protects every Nigerian the right to free speech, to protest as a citizen. So what is now the part of the Nigerian Bar Association when they see that Nigerians are being clamped down on? And since this Take It Back started...
No, because it's not their members.
Okay, this protest has been on for so long. The NBA has not released a statement as a bar association to interpret what the Constitution really says and back it up so that these citizens will be protected from being harassed.
My brother, you are still getting it wrong.
Okay.
It is not the Nigerian Bar Association that will interpret the law. Okay. The Nigerian Bar Association is a professional organization. It's a professional association, just like ICANN. Just like Nigerian Society of Engineers. Have you what has do you know what, do you know is the job of Nigerian Society of Engineers the same thing with the job of Minister of Works?
Definitely not.
So why are you confusing it? Please, Nigerian Bar Association is just an association, a professional body, and members cut across different facets of life. Some members of the Nigerian Bar Association are in the military. Some are still in that police. That police force you are talking about that are clapping down on. Some members of Nigerian Bar Association are also employed in the police service. Just like the same police has some engineers employed there, have accountants. Some accountants are employed there, administrators, psychologists, doctors.
Okay, barrister, let's leave the definition of Let's
go on with the
You
talking.
want to call out Nigerian Bar Association?
Okay, let's leave the Nigerian Bar Association aside. Let's leave the Nigerian Bar Association aside. Let's look at the issues. Because the Take It Back movement, talking about the declaration of state of emergency, and why emphasis on the fact that the judiciary plays a major role, whether you like it or not, in all of these demands. Because they talk about authoritarianism and talking about the style of which the government is planning to operate, where they clamp down on any form of dissent. And the fact that each time these people are making this complaint, I hope tomorrow state of emergency will not be declared in the other states as well, where some military retired administrator will just come in and the Senate will stamp it and say you are good to go.
Yes, that is where we should be focusing on.
Yes.
You see, my problem is that our institutions of states have been mortgaged, have all been mortgaged and compromised. For me, it is my personal opinion, and any other person has the right to differ with me. It is my considered view that Nigeria does not have a parliament. We don't have a parliament in this country. There is no legislature in this country. We are running a civilian dictatorship. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the sole administrator of Nigeria. He is the sole administrator. The National Assembly, as it is presently constituted, has not lived up to the expectation, has not discharged their constitutional responsibility. They have not done anything to inspire hope and confidence amongst the citizenry. So I have concluded that we don't have a legislature. What we have there is a rubber stamp, an extension of the executive. In fact, not the executive even, an extension of the presidency. Because even the executive, we don't even have an executive arm. The executive arm constitutes the presidency and the civil service, the ministries, MDAs and parastatals. As you may know today, if you ask any child in the secondary school today to name 5 1 minute, you see, that is what we are talking about.
All right, I understand.
The power company here just sees the light, the electricity in my end.
Really sad.
That's part of the failure of this nation. Well, let me continue even in darkness. It's laughable.
At least we can still hear you. At least we see the effect of. Yeah.
Yes. So that the whole world will know the kind of country we are living in. And I make bold to say that this is a country that I find it hard to remember the name of whoever is the minister of power. I don't even know if there is a minister of power in this country again. When we were growing up, you can name the ministers in the Federal Republic offhand. But now, even as an adult, as I am now, I cannot mention. I will find it very hard to mention 5 ministers in this country. That shows they are not effective. They are not working. They are not doing anything. So the people don't know them. That is it. So the only person we know in this country today is President Tinubu and nothing more. My daughter in the secondary school don't even know who is the Speaker of the Federal House. Because he is redundant, ineffective.
All right.
The parliament is not working. We don't have a parliament in this country. So why that is why people, that is what people should be talking about. I'm not blaming people who a group that is not state actors.
Okay.
Let us tackle the state actors. The state actors are the senators, the House of Reps members, who are docile,
Okay.
who don't even know their jobs.
Let me take you to Mr. Anosike. At least he's still having some light here, and well, it's pretty sad because all of the factors that's really affecting our country, where this Take It Back movement is protesting about, we see it all around us. You see that the reality the government is having is different from the reality we, the citizens, are going through. Because I stumbled upon one of the advisors to the president saying 1,500 naira, which is equivalent to $1, is enough for any man to feed a day. And I don't know the reality that that man, when he was saying that, is to our own reality.
Well, I want to start with what he just said. I agreed with him that what we have, but he said that we don't have the parliament anymore. But we also don't have the judiciary anymore. So he should be including that.
Okay.
What we have is the president, then both the National Assembly and the judiciary are just departments of the president. Both the National Assembly and the judiciary are both departments in the presidency. So both of them have compromised. They are complicit. They are corrupt. They don't exist anymore. Their existence is only at the discretion of the president. So, and on the reality you are talking about, the reality of those in the executive is different from our own reality. Understand? Their reality is different from us. They don't feel what we are feeling. But it didn't start today. I know when in 2004, when Obasanjo was the minister, was the president, his minister of housing then was a woman from Ondo. Then Obasanjo they were saying that they were building no-cost houses, housing for the poor. Excuse me, sorry. I was covering environment for the Sun, property and environment for the Sun newspaper. So when they want to talk, when the minister was talking about that housing for the poor, I asked him, excuse me, man, how much is this houses that government is building for the poor? The woman said 7 million naira. That's 2004. By then, 7 million naira is $53,000. I said, excuse me, man, where would the Nigerians get, poor Nigerians get 7 million naira that to buy houses? The woman responded, do you mean that Nigerians are so poor that they cannot afford 7 million to buy a house? This is 2004. A minister was saying, do you mean that Nigerians are so poor that they cannot afford the 7 million? So their reality is different from our own reality. And the poor masses also help to feed this reality of those in the presidency. Because if Tinubu is visiting Edo State today, they will sweep everywhere, decorate the road, understand? Decorate where he is coming to. Everybody will be told, go and dress in your best attire and come. President will only see beautiful things everywhere. So then they will all dance and sing. President will say that what? They are happy. Understand me? They are everywhere is good. So the poor masses plays into the reality of the president. And when the president wants to meet or the president will go and dress in their best suit. President will see comfortable, rich pressmen. So to him, the president behaves like, is treated like a Buddha. Before Buddha was 21, he was not made to know that there's poverty in the world. He was not made to know that there's sickness in the world. So that is the reality that Buddha was growing up with until he left his father's kingdom. So that is what is happening. They don't know what you are feeding. So when somebody tells you that 1,500 is enough for anybody that to feed, mind you, 1,500 cannot buy bread for 3 people. Understand?
Yeah.
So no family can even feed with 2,000 naira in the morning as a breakfast in the country.
All right, pretty sad there. It seems like Barrister is back with maybe his own provided power supply, because these days we have to provide everything for ourselves.
Self-help.
Yeah, we're practicing self-help. We're all self-government of ourselves, trying to live by, and still yet the government impose heavy taxes. The cybercrime levy, let's not forget, it's affecting all of us. I was at a POS the other day, and the lady smartly avoided withdrawing 10,000 naira, not just to pay the 50 naira cybercrime levy. I'm just saying the situation hits every one of us in our different perspective. Unfortunately, the reality of those in power is quite far, and it's pretty sad. But let's go back to the Labour Party, where the chairman still,
don't call him chairman.
Okay,
no.
The Labour Party removed chairman by the Supreme Court. Oh, I want to put it that way. Now ex-Labour Party chairman, in the words of Mr.
Supreme Court.
Supreme Court gave a judgment where it said Abure does not enjoy the right of being called the party chairman, and recusing himself from making decisions as far as parties is concerned. He has come out to declare that there is no leadership vacuum in the party, despite recent judgment from the Supreme Court. Abure made the statement during a public conference before the National Executive Committee meeting at the party secretariat, emphasizing that party matters are internal affairs. He also criticized former presidential candidates Peter Obi and Governor Alex Otti, accusing them of betraying the party. Abure urged those misled by the Supreme Court judgment's interpretation to disregard speculation, affirming his position as national chairman. He emphasized that the Labour Party's constitution doesn't recognize caretaker committees for party affairs, and this statement comes after Abure and Obi called separate Labour Party NEC meetings following the Supreme Court judgment. And the controversy surrounds the party's leadership and implications of the Supreme Court verdict on party supremacy. Abure's statement aims to clarify the party's stance and maintain stability within the organization. Let me go back to you, Barrister, for the provision of, taking a look at the provision of what the Supreme Court judgment says. Given Julius Abure's dismissal of the leadership vacuum concerns, do you believe his continued leadership is sustainable amidst all this internal party conflict and the Supreme that was just made just a week ago?
You see, that is what I have continued to say. That when politicians refuse to do the proper thing, everybody will, after politicians have finished messing around and refuse to do the proper thing, they take their mess into the hallowed chambers of our judiciary. And when they take their mess into our temples of justice to desecrate it, Nigerians will not see or blame the politicians who refused to do the right thing, but will rather blame the temple of justice that are trying their best to see how to clean the mess of our politicians. Whether they are able to clean the mess or not, whether they succeeded in the mess to a great extent, more or less, is another matter for another day. But they are not the causative factor. The causative factor are the politicians. Let us begin to, in fact, let us begin to pressure our politicians to do the right thing, so that their matter will not even get to court at the first instance. Not to talk of the court coming up with rulings or judgments that may seem vague to members of the public. Now, the Supreme Court has said over and over and over and over again, in fact, since 2003, up till now, Supreme Court has maintained its judgments, its judicial precedents, that political the matters concerning the leadership of political parties are family matters that must be dealt with internally by the family members. Don't stop bringing it to us. Stop bringing it to court. Deal with it. Some of these little leadership tussles in our political parties are what politicians can just sit around the table in a round table discussion and do their horse trading and do their give and take, reach compromises. You take this, I take this. Okay, let me step down and wait for next turn. All right, you go for one tenure and then let it return to this person. All those negotiations can come out in a round table. But our Nigerian politicians will never sit down in a round table and discuss their family matters. Rather, they will go and disturb the peace and tranquility of the judiciary. And then when the judiciary comes with their pronouncements, which most times are not well understood or internalized by the masses, and then the masses will start saying, the judiciary has taken bribe. But the judiciary have only done what they can do within their own powers. Now look at it. The judiciary has maintained their decision that political leadership in political parties are internal matters that should be handled like in a family manner. Political parties, resolve your crisis, resolve your problems. In 1979, during the Second Republic, between 1979 and 1982, when the likes of Awolowo and Nnamdi Azikiwe, the great Nnamdi Azikiwe, and others, very cerebral and intelligent politicians who have that time, although some of them were corrupt, but they have a way of coming to terms with their affairs, sitting down to reach compromises, okay, to share power. I remember the the MPN MPP accord, which brought the Chifume Ezeoke as speaker,
barrister,
and then this other person from the other party as Senate president, and then the ministers were also shared in that form. Without going to court.
Barrister, sorry to cut you short. Apologies, because we are pressed for time. And I believe you are talking about when we still had nationalists running politics. Well, now what we have is permanent interest politicians. Yes, permanent. Yes,
Skinanigan.
permanent interest politicians, no permanent friends. Mr. Nosige, Abure said that Peter Obi and Alex Otti has betrayed the party.
Let me start with that. If a thief did not know where he will go and sell what he stole, he will not steal it. So if the politicians know that court will not accept their petitions, they will not go to court in the first instance. They will want to resolve all their problems within themselves. Why they are running to the court is because they know that court will accept it. So that Handle Chamber Temple of Justice is fake. Just like calling senators distinguished, honorable, calling tips distinguished, honorable. So as we are talking about removing an honorable and distinguished from National House of Assembly members, we should also remove a Handle Chamber and Temple of Justice from the judiciary. Those words doesn't befit them. These are corrupt institutions. So let us start with the Inewi Convention, where for any convention to stand, INEC must supervise it. INEC did not supervise the Inewi Convention, which made it illegal that to start with. But what do we see? Appeal Court declared Abure the national chairman. Appeal Court. And the Appeal Court should have known what my friend is saying, that it is an internal affair. What is Appeal Court passing judgment on what is internal affair? That shows you the corruption in the judiciary. So the issue is this: the judgment was well deserved. Abure has been removed as national chairman of a Labour Party, but because people are sponsoring him to make sure that it will be very easy for APC in 2027, that's why he will not go to his house and sit down. Understand me? It is those who are behind him that tell him continue causing this trouble. In his mind, he know that he's no more the national chairman of a Labour Party. And till he died, he will be grateful to Peter Obi, because I hear for the first time because of Peter Obi.
Oh, you said Peter Obi is betraying the party.
2021, do you know anybody of Junior Abure? He's a shoe shiner.
All right.
He's a shoe shiner. So it is Peter Obi that gave life into him.
All right, very, very, very hard words there. I want to say big thanks to you, Barrister Joe, for being a part of the show this evening. It's been a pleasure having your insights on the show.
Thank you very much. But I still have a lot of things to say on this.
Yeah, I can see that from your face. Time will
our greatest enemy.
Yeah, but then maybe some other time we'll surely have you.
Thank you.
Right, have a good night rest. Mr. Nosike,
Yeah,
hard way to go out. Very interesting. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, and that's a wrap for tonight's episode of the Issues and Voice of the People TV. We hope you stay engaged and informed. Remember, your voice matters. Stay involved and keep the conversation going. I am Jerry Arpelioid, and this has been the Issues on Voice of the People TV. Good night, Nigeria.